welcome. Episode 70 of Iron Man WoW Challenge. Still going strong. We finished off the Nezingwary quests in the previous episode, or the first batch of them anyway. They're going to be continuing on a little bit later. There's still 2 or 3, I can't remember exactly, but 2 or 3 different legs of that to go through, and they get increasingly more difficult, which is good, because the first one was dull, very, very dull. I think the next one is pretty dull as well. So I'm just going to let this run in the background. I'm just going to have, I think the last episode I did talk quite a lot about what had been happening with my channel, and I'm going to do that again. Sorry. So like I said, there's not really a lot I can talk about in terms of tips with the Iron Man challenge at the minute, because this is still been recorded on 4.3, so it's a little bit out of date, but we've got to get it done. I think in the next episode I'll probably put it into full fast forward. We'll try and get the rest of this zone finished off and uploaded as soon as possible, because there's a lot of content here. One of the things that did surprise me, I mean, it's been a very long time since I've actually leveled through questing in this game, especially through TBC, and yeah, it's surprising just how many quests there are. I think a lot of people now, they just stick to dungeons and things like that because it's easy, especially if you're tanking or healing. You can just, you know, you don't have a queue to deal with. It's surprising just how many quests there are. Nagrand and Terracotta Forest specifically, just they really pack them in. It's kind of ridiculous. So we need to get through all that content, and we'll get it uploaded and get a conclusion, I guess, to Series 3, as I'm calling it, which basically means I die again. So, what's been happening this past week or so? Well, we've had Mr. Pandaria come out. I've not really put anything up in terms of levelling because I was too busy levelling. At one point I thought I could potentially go for Realm First Hunter, but being I think it's the second biggest realm in Europe that I'm on, which is Draenor at the minute. Yeah, it was pretty crazy on launch. I'm not sure how other realms. I'm not sure how other realms really dealt with it, because these past 2 times I've been on when I say past 2 times, I mean Cataclysm and Mr. Pandaria. Previous to that, I wasn't online for the TBC or Wrath launches. I wasn't playing actively at that point, but for Kata and Pandaria I was, and it's been kind of interesting logging on as soon as possible and trying to get on with content. Draenor was terrible, absolutely terrible. If you could log on, you couldn't do quests. If you could log on, you couldn't join dungeons. And usually what would happen for about the first 2 hours, you would just sit and at the loading screen or the character login screen or something like that. It was pretty bad. But that's kind of what you have to deal with when it's such a large server. We've also had queues, which I know some of you will be like, you're only just getting queues? Yeah, we're getting queues now during peak times of like 40 minutes, which is terrible. Draenor has now got, thankfully, free realm transfer, so maybe our guild is going to transfer off. We don't know yet. But my dreams of acquiring Realm First Hunter were dashed quite early on, because our plan was to level to 87 through dungeons alone, but we couldn't get our dungeon team on for like 2.5 hours, and you couldn't quest. So, and as a DPS, I think it would have been pretty difficult to get into a dungeon still. So by the time I dinged 87, which is still pretty quick, there were like 12 people on the realm that were level 88, and one of them was a hunter, and I'm like, okay, I'm at least a full level behind. I'm not going to catch up. So I just gave up, went to bed, got some sleep, logged back in the morning, and I think I dinged level 90 about a day later, because I'm not sure how many of you have actually leveled to 90 yet, or you're even playing Mr. Pandaria, but the levelling at level 90, obviously you take a lot of XP to get to ding, basically, and it's pretty bad. The questing's pretty good though, so I mean my general overall impression of Mr. Pandaria has been has been really good. Like, I think a lot of people don't really like questing. I know some people like questing, but generally people don't. And I'm not sure whether that's just a general dislike of questing or a dislike of questing in WoW. Because I know WoW questing it can be pretty bad. If you get a drop quest, as I've gone on many times in this series, if you get a drop quest, that's it, that's just a killer. It's just, you could be there for 3-4 times longer than you should be doing a quest if it's a drop quest. But for the most part, the questing in MoP has been really good. I've really enjoyed it. So I skipped out the first zone. We did actually level to 86 and a bit through dungeons, and then went straight to Valley of the Four Winds, ahead of the curve, so to speak. And the Valley of the Four Winds I really liked. It's such a beautiful, calm, relaxing zone. Really good, not like World of Warcraft at all. Krasarang Wilds was a little bit poor. It felt a lot like that was the first zone that they did, or they first implemented the questing in. It's a lot of kind of old school quests in there. I missed out Kunlai Summit and then went straight to Town Long Steps. Town Long Steps was fine. A lot of people said they found that zone really dull and boring. I thought it was fine. It's quite interesting. And then on to the Dread Wastes, which was interesting. A really good storyline. You may have seen, I put up a video about Dread Wastes a little bit earlier, a couple of days ago, which, like, generally, yeah, questing was good. Much better than Kata. The flow of an actual story from one zone to the next was just like, oh, can't even remember, did we have that in Wrath? Didn't have it in TBC, there was no kind of story. So that was, I really enjoyed that, it was really good. The dungeons have been good as well. But I think, interestingly, talking about Iron Mine, let's keep it on topic. One thing that has interested me is just the changes to the Hunter class, I think would make Iron Man Challenge quite doable again. So yeah, I may get back on that, and we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna, at some point, probably give it a couple of weeks. At some point I'll probably get back on the bandwagon and start leveling up my character back up to the point where this character dies, and then see how it goes from there. I think definitely though it's possible. So in the previous video I talked about the changes to Growl. For those of you that don't know, Growl is, it used to be, it would generate a bit of threat against the hunter's pet, so the mob that it's attacking would attack it. In Mr. Pandaria that's been changed to a taunt, and taunts used to work whereby it would temporarily grab full aggro, but that aggro could drop off again. So you could taunt, but then a few seconds later the mob would kind of reset and start attacking who it was attacking before. But the way it actually appears to work now in Mr. Pandaria is that the Growl just generates an absolute shitload of threat, and it's almost impossible to, I mean, at level 85 to 90 it's almost impossible to re-grab aggro off your pet, which is interesting. I didn't think it would be like that. So you can have heals, you can be doing way more damage than your pet is, and you can still just not grab aggro. So it's really good. So that's really got me interested in how this could work for Iron Man Challenge, and the fact that we can have a pet specialisation as well. So I mentioned this in the previous video, pet specialisation you have to have. You cannot unspecialise your pet from a talent type. So that's really good, and that's had me thinking as well about what kind of pet would work. Now, all pets can be tanks, and one of the tanking abilities that come with that specialisation is Thunder Stomp, which is an AoE damage plus threat. So that's really good. And also there's an ability that I can't remember whether we get it on all specs, but we certainly get it on the DPS spec, where we can instantly revive our pet, which is like, wow. That's always been in the game, but you would generally never specialise, or you'd never put points into that talent previously, because it wasn't a DPS talent, it was just a utility talent that you should never really have to use. So that's pretty awesome as well. So it's, yeah, like I say, it's had me interested. I think I'll give it another go. We'll see how it goes, but I don't like the fact that I've died, and I don't like the fact that I didn't complete the challenge. There's a little bit of OCD in me there that's kind of like, you will do it, do not give up. So we'll have another crack at that at some point. Probably start just in time for me finishing uploading all of the old content. That would be convenient, wouldn't it? So what else has been going on? Mr. Pandaria, obviously that's good. We've had Torchlight 2 and Borderlands 2 come out in the past kind of week-ish as well, and I played Torchlight. I didn't play Borderlands, but they're both games I really want to play. And I think they're probably going to be games that I will play. I know there's a lot of people that have already done Let's Plays for Borderlands. The Yogs cast have done a pretty good 4-player. The other one that I've seen, I subscribe to Rad Brad, who does some pretty good Let's Plays as well. So I'm not sure how I can really differentiate myself from those. So I'm not sure whether I will actually upload it. But Torchlight 2, we'll see. We'll see how it goes with that one. I've not seen a good Let's Play, but if you've seen one, you know, put it in the comment section below, and I'll take a look and see. I'd like to see one. But in terms of YouTube, that's all kind of sorted now. So as far as I'm aware, I've now been accepted into the Maker Studios /RPM/Social Blade partner network, and I have all of the features available on my channel. I've not utilised some of them yet, so for example, like channel headers and TV series and stuff like that, which I'll start putting those in as stuff gets uploaded. And now I have the ability to put thumbnails back on, which you have probably seen by clicking on this video. So that's nice. I'm happy about that. I'm not sure how it's all going to work though, but hopefully it should mean that I don't have to faff about with copyright information. So if you're familiar with uploading game content to YouTube and you've had a few views, you get the option at some point to monetize your videos. And you've probably thought, oh, I can earn money playing video games. It's very tempting, but of course YouTube, they don't just let you do that. You need to prove that you're allowed to claim ad revenue on that content, and even though you may have the actual legal right to do that, proving that to YouTube can be very difficult. So I'm hoping now that I'm no longer partnering with YouTube, that should all be sorted out. As I understand it, RPM/Maker Studios have all of those rights in place. I've just not had that confirmed from them yet, so hopefully that doesn't mean I can start uploading content from other games as well. So yeah, we may do some, Garthis and I may do some more Let's Plays, so especially co-op, because I think co-op's a lot more fun to watch, and definitely play as well, so it should be more fun to watch. So that's how that's going. I'm quite excited about that. I've also had this little video put on my channel about pandas that you may have seen, and that's gone okay. I'm quite happy with that. It's not the first kind of silly music video I've had on my channel. The other one is no longer there anymore. I had to remove it due to, ironically enough, copyright issues. And that was the Sesame Street Aliens and Dubstep, which I've now put on a separate channel. I don't care if that gets copyright flagged or anything. But yeah, that's been and gone, and I'm quite happy with that. I mean, obviously the video is very, very cheesy. It's like almost very little talent was used in the production of that. So obviously no singing talent was used, but the video editing stuff is like really simple and really, it's pretty bad. In places there are some like very cheesy effects, and but that's all part of the Gangnam Style cheesiness. I think it's meant to be It's meant to be poor. It's meant to be a little bit cheesy. That's fine. And that's got quite a few views. I said to myself when we uploaded that, because I thought it could get a few hits. I thought if I can get it onto MMO Champion in time for the Mr. Pandaria launch, we might get a few views. It's actually got over 100,000 views now, and that's, I mean, for me, most of my videos, if I'm lucky, get 1,000 views. Normally get 200, so I'm very, very happy with that. That's pretty good. It's brought in quite a few new subscribers to the channel. I'm not sure whether they're going to stick around, because obviously what you're watching now is my usual kind of video, although I probably wouldn't be waffling as much about YouTube in those videos normally. But this is kind of me playing a game, or maybe a co-op with my brother or some other people. That's just generally how we roll, really. We're not usually doing machinima or silly little song videos, but we might do more. If there's a decent song that comes out in the future that we can put some stupid gaming lyrics to, then hell yeah, we'll jump straight on that bandwagon. We're all about jumping on bandwagons on this channel. That's why we play Warcraft. It's one of the biggest games currently being played, I guess, still. Right. So, I think that's probably going to be it for this episode. Like I say, this video has been a little bit shorter than some of the previous Iron Man Challenge videos. And also, we're just taking it quite leisurely. We're just chilling out in the background. Although, to be fair, this camp we're in right now, we do have to come back here, but my first time into this little camp I was a little bit worried. Primarily because, well, if you've been keeping up with the series, you'll know what happened to the last, or to me to the last time when we came into a camp. I got my ass absolutely handed to me. It was terrible. But actually it wasn't too bad here. We haven't got any patrols or anything like that to catch us off guard, and we did okay, but we do have to come back later, I think. It's not just the one time, we've got some shadowy dudes here. Anyway, join me next time. We'll be continuing on through Nagrand, hopefully get the video or the series finished soon. If you've got any comments or questions about this old 4.3 content, it's unlikely, but if you've got them, then you know where to put them in the comment section below, and I shall see you next time. Bye.